100. Be invincible. A man becomes successful for integrity and sincerity in his work. Those who do not engage themselves in anything but leave it for others are defeated in the struggle of life. Wants, desires, and powers remain in the minds of human beings. We are to fulfill this wants by our own powers. Tell your body that it is strong, tell your mind that it is powerful, and think that you are to cross the ocean of your life with the help of your body. Have confidence and trust on yourself. All your powers are there in your body and mind. With controlled use of this self-power, anybody can win the nature. Power of thinking and power of nerves are converted into muscle power. Power is the source of some action. He who has proceeded through the path of struggle and reforms, has saved himself from misguidance. A man is to proceed through the path of life by adjusting his mentality many a times with the prevailing realities of his life. Start your work with whatever you have, only then you will be successful. Moral courage or self-confidence teaches a man how to live and how to be successful in life. Create a winning attitude within yourself and success will come to you. Influence others but do not be influenced by others. You can win your egoism by observing your surrounding potentiality and overlooking the provoking matters. In this way the world can be converted into heaven. The success which never fails is a real success. Defeat of intelligence is the win of intelligence. You will surely win if you control yourself wholeheartedly and if you keep your courage firm and undefeatable. They win who believe so. The greatest win of a life is to win the love and regard of others. I have come, seen and invaded. Whichever does not ruin you, makes you powerful. If you have the proper work schedule and a deep self-confidence, you will surely win in spite of much obstacles. As soon as you think that everything is possible for you, you will gain a lot of strength to do the thing which is apparently impossible, and it activates the total power within you. He who does not want to do anything forcible, the whole world will surrender to him someday. He wins who shows mercy during armed fight. If you can win yourself, you can win everything. He who dominates others, is physically strong and he is powerful, who can win himself. He who can control himself, does not have any risk of danger. He who can do anything is having unlimited power, he is eligible for reigning a land. He is patient, calm and the winner of the world, who is not shocked by the look of a woman, does not become angry and is not greedy of wealth at all. A great man expects the result deserving to his personality, even when he is in danger. Courage is not a product of age but is a product of a man's conduct. Winning or being defeated are not the main factors, but struggles of life is important. You can win if you work with perseverance and confidence. Failure is to be won by efforts. The only shield of the oppressed people is to prevent violence and cruelty. Even a lion, the king of a jungle, is to defend itself from the flies. Self-defense is the first law of nature. The greatest art is the art of self-defense. Accumulate power within yourself and win yourself. Win yourself and then everybody will come unto you. A temporary victory may be attained by physical strength, but enough intelligence is required to maintain it. The whole armed forces of the world cannot defeat the mental power of a purified man. That man only will be successful at last. Whining does not mean to pass days by scuffling with ordinary people, but to promote yourself above them is the success. He becomes successful who can hold the steering firmly in this conflicting life. Those who become prominent in the field of power become so by promoting themselves, and those who become successful in the field of spirituality become so by sacrificing many things. Guards sacrifice their lives but do not surrender. It is better to sacrifice your life for religion than to lead your life defeated. The principle of a real and courageous man is that he will sacrifice his life but won't lose his status. Do not think yourself tiny and poor. You can win the whole world. You can become a full-fledged man attaining all powers. If you always underestimate yourself, you will always be defeated. Acquire knowledge, raise all the powers within yourself, and then you will not remain as a tiny man. Not failure but undermining yourself is a wrong act. An injustice cannot be owned by another injustice. An injustice is to be reacted by protest or counterattack. To tolerate an injustice is worse than to do injustice. It is cowardice to forgive an oppressor. Sometimes taking revenge becomes essential. To take revenge against an insult is not a showmanship of courage, but it is justified. People think they have right to return an injustice act against, and if they cannot do so they feel that they have lost their liberty. Those who can raise injustice to its peak, only they can properly dominate a nation, a city, and even a country. Defeat is such a school where truth always grows up strongly. We compensate our failure in one sector with success in another sector. Wise people never remains idle after a failure. They tries cheerfully to compensate the loss. He who has never been defeated can never win. He who has not become a victim of bad luck is not aware of his power. The substance of heroism is self-confidence. When a man tolerates miserable conditions one after another, brightness of his heart is seen. It does not occur for his feelings but for his greatness and courage. There are two sides of the same disaster, good for somebody and bad for somebody else. One can win if he is ready for a defeat. Victory begets greatness, and defeat begets firmness. Winning and being defeated are not everything, but fighting for a right cause is the main factor. Do not be disheartened if you are defeated, take it as a medicine for a new and more energetic life. One's fall means some other's good luck. He cannot win who is afraid of falling down. He is really a spirited man who can expect a victory standing on a pile of ruins. He who does not have fall in his life does not have rise ever. In this world every force is proceeding like a wave. So everything is having ups and downs. During the race of life, who fallen down today will rise up tomorrow, otherwise his race of life will not be a full-fledged one. Ups and downs of human life is nothing but a routine matter. Whatever can rise up can fall down as well. Do not liable to anybody verbally, physically or financially. Otherwise your result may vary of your efforts. In this world there is no room for a weak man. Mercy and insult drives a man from behind. A man harmed in an unjustified way remembers it forever. No harm is a harm if the harmed man does not treat it as harm. A powerful man takes possession of a weak man's position. You should establish and maintain peace with your power, strength in life, otherwise it will vanish with a strike of a more powerful man. One can never become a powerful man by confusion and inactiveness. Greatness depends on judicious use of power. Power misguides a man's mentality. Courage is a manly quality. A man is called murderer when he kills someone and is called a hero when he kills millions of people. Encourage a coward, avoid a wicked man, and work with the wise man. Be controlled but courageous, be simple but not a fool. Be courteous but do not be weak-hearted. It is human tendency to kick a fallen man. When a man loses his power everybody kicks him. Barking dogs seldom bite. Too much thunder does not pour. A king is the shelter for a weak man, crying is the power of a lad, silence is the shield of an ignorant man, and lying is the protection for a thief. Nowadays society has become a greater obstacle for men in comparison with nature. Dominating attitude is a natural instinct of human being. So, although our destinations differ, yet the guidance required is the same. Power is life, delight and happiness. The world is sympathetic to them who are firm and powerful. Man is created by different reactive metal, as such their internal power is multilateral. Those who are really powerful, takes life as a blessing and face all the obstacles of life. We should think about our existence with a positive attitude. A positive attitude produces loving characteristics among us, and a negative envious attitude detaches them. This is the natural power. A powerful man only has the right to enjoy the world. The main attitude behind heroism is wealth and woman for enjoyment. The world is for enjoyment of the heroes. It is quite natural that the courageous man and woman does not bother for any personal liberty or relation. Men are too courageous. So long people used to believe that the precious qualities like powers of thinking, imagination and love, fascination, affection, regard etc. are the sole characteristics of human being. Power is should be faced by power. Excitement deteriorates power. The difference between excitement and power is like that of a spark and a flame. Weight and power do always existing. There are two kinds of energy. One is potential, which has no real appearance, and the other is kinetic, which is apparent and its application can be seen directly. An abstract thing does not have a shape. A tiny atom is the source of huge power when used by a scientist. There are two parts of power. One part is exposed and the other is unexposed. One is initiative and the other is rest. One is application and the other is control. If you disturb this balance of power, it becomes agitated, which won't give a good effect. Power declares itself and love covers itself. The field of power is light and that of love is darkness. There is no right greater than that of power. God has such power. A king has some power as sovereign. A lion is the king of forest with the same right as a man becomes the destiny maker of many people. The world is ruled by power. Where there is no power, there is no authority. There is no power stronger than justice. Power is effective on the dominated character, not on an independent one. When a secret matter becomes open, power becomes unnecessary. Power shows its domination till it is undeclared, even it is unrecognized. Wealth, money and power are the reasonable winners over fear. Where power masters justice is his slave there. A man's own power is awakened when it comes in touch with another power. A powerful man becomes winner for all the time. Power can identify itself when it is obstructed and then it cannot be stopped. Rainwater is the purest and one's own power is his actual power. There were many powerful nations who achieved glory in the world has been disappeared from the world only for ignoring physical strength. Application of power should be proper and well balanced. Everybody is afraid of a powerful man, it is one kind of regards. But behind fear from the terrorist there is hatred and mercy. Might is right. Those who are really powerful do not apply their power every now and then. But sometimes they display it only. A powerful man is having a tendency to show his power. Madness of power is against peace. When somebody understands about his weak point, he controls application of his power. Man can be killed with the help of power, but death of a dearest one cannot be stopped by it. An educated man does not show excessive power. Till such stage even an old man is fool like a lad. Everybody is a worshipper of power. Somebody wants power of arms and somebody wants self-power. Everything is an age of power, starting from motivation to fine arts and from efforts for gaining wealth to sacrifice and being a saint. A life wants to win. When there is a domination of brutal power, man seeks for intellectual power. Everybody is afraid of a powerful man. Everybody cares for a powerful man. A treaty is glorified by justice, honesty and regard. Although a treaty means that men do not have sufficient feelings for each other. Natural brotherhood is the most firm tie. Mankind cannot be united with a treaty as much as it can be so by open-hearted feelings, love and benevolent attitude. The hand which holds the white flag of a treaty is a very sacred hand. But he has the only right to live in the world who has a blood-shedding sword in his hand. This is the source, justice and equity of all national lives. Try to learn how to live like a hunter, not like a prey. Save the honor of your brother and help him against an oppressor and his oppression. An independent man's life is full of struggles. A king struggles for a kingdom and an ordinary man struggles for survival for a piece of bread. He who is established through struggles is having no less status than a victorious soldier. To wound an enemy means a war, and to remain careless about him means neutrality. A powerful man makes a man prisoner and then tortures him as he likes. War means a clash between two or more well-organized groups with a specific purpose. There are three kinds of war, namely open war, hidden war and silent war. A silent war is conducted by instigating others, making them rebel, and by instigating or removing the high officials. More historical events are there which have been created by secret alliance than that by wars. To take side of a powerful man is more prospective. Military pilots can cross any border at any time, as such they can attack at any point. To win a war, you are to know the use of arms of army, navy and air force. to know how to encircle the enemy soldiers, to control the soldiers, to go to the wars, to kill the enemies, to cross the barriers of the enemies, to scatter the enemy soldier, to remain united and to kill the enemy soldiers. Judo is a game for the young men, a glory for the women, a defensive measure for the soldiers and self-confidence for the old man. When it is unavoidable to lose your own soldiers, then it is wise to kill more opponent soldiers and to decrease loss of own soldiers. He who complains first always wins. A trial showing of wounds is the best evidence. In absence any witness, and in absence of a wound, the actual fact should be found out through other marks or symptoms. During a war, there is no role of ethics or religion. Purpose of a war is to confront the enemies with arms and to defeat them. He who can declare forcefully that he is winner becomes winner. He who fights and escapes lives to fight again. But he who is wounded in a war can never fight again. Only a war can accumulate all the powers of a country, and those who have the courage to face a war, they becomes lucky and great. Fight but do not break a trust or promise. War, killing, piracy, all kinds of oppression and coercion, are the result of disparity of rights. A war is the result of the crisis of human civilization. A war is the national renaming of egoism of a person or a class. Unnatural death, crisis, frustration, devaluation of human values are the effects of an unbalanced classification of a society. A few people dumped money at the cost of suffering of millions of people. We are observing demotion of moral character and crying of the helpless newborn children all around. Humanity perishes by overpowered brutality. Humans are puzzled, repent and cry. All the men and women are to be regularly trained in warfare so that a nation can attain a military power to defend themselves and to help their friendly countries if they are attacked. To save the lives of its citizens, a state should use hired soldiers in a war, use different tactics, bribe the opponent soldiers and declare reward openly for killing or arresting the main leaders of the opponent party. Bribing a good amount of money, one can purchase the enemy's make anti-state elements among them, create indiscipline and a civil war among themselves. Wild animals fight with their physical power. Intelligence and tactics are greater than strength and violence. It is manly and pleasant to defeat the enemies by tactics and diplomacy. Through diplomacy the enemies start to suspect each other and pass their lives in a severe terror and fear. The common people are compelled to fight against their will due to terrible madness of their kings or leaders. Nobody becomes a terrible warrior from the very beginning. Their terrified attitude and courage increase gradually after conducting a war for a long days. Then their attitude becomes so hard that they rather want to die than to retreat. The real warriors do not think that their lives are so valueless that they should endanger it without thinking. Again, they are not so much blindly fascinated toward life that they will keep it alive like a shameless and greedy man when it is really necessary to sacrifice their lives. War is a business of the barbarians. Nobody cannot engage a nation in a war till he took the shelter of lies. It is wise not to underestimate the enemies during war. Besides that, it is quite necessary to know about their strategy and attitude. If somebody know it earlier, he can understand his opponent's motives before and can resist them properly in time. Preparation for a war is the most effective way maintaining peace. Young men are the most suitable to join a war, because it is their habit to fight and not to bother for their lives. They don't believe at all that they are small or weak, and the danger may also come to their fates. It is wise to make a treaty even on dishonorable conditions during a war, when it is more possibility for your defeat than win. But one should continue a war, where his victory is assured. Mankind are to fight continuously against an evil power, an opponent in reactive power, so the other name of life is a game of war. Those who are not ready to sacrifice anything cannot struggle. There is no middle way in a war. There are no enormous ways of fighting a war. There is only one way, and that is to win. God remains in favors of the winners. Sometimes a war becomes essential and unavoidable. In modern wars, success does not depend on the number of soldiers or their moral courage. It depends on serviceable and the latest arms and ammunitions. The best way to stop a war is to accept defeat. Pain of wound is not felt in the moment when a man wins a war. It is not possible to keep one's existence without win a war, so one is to win a war at any cost and time. When all your ways and means are failed, only then you should allow your sword to determine your fate.